Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned into Three Questions and a Song, the podcast where the title says it all, except that part about three questions, because I'm not sticking to that. This is episode number 90. You can hear us on Build a Scene Radio. It's buildascene.com/radio and roodaroo.radio.com in San Diego, California, on the beaches of San Diego. And with me tonight for episode number 90 is Chip from Chip and the Charge Ups.
What is up, Bill?
Nothing. When you posted the Spotify link, I listened to it, and then I immediately went to First Angel Media's group, posted it in there, and said, "We got to do something with this." So hopefully somebody else has contacted you.
Cool.
I also may have said that it kind of sounded like a throwback to a former band that you've been in, just a little.
Yeah, no surprise there. I mean, it felt good to kind of explore familiar territory, and I've heard that multiple times. So, and in favorable ways. So that's a good thing.
It was favorable. In case I'm sure there will be people that are listening, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Chip was in another band. Chip's last name is Dominic, but if you rearrange some letters, you can get Chip Demonic, which was the name of the other band.
Indeed.
So definitely a little heavier than the poppy, what's the word I want? Poppy, punky stuff that I usually. That's a terrible description, but of what I usually hear from Chip and the Charge Ups. So my question is, what took you down that road?
You know, we've been working on a ton of new music over the past year and a half, and we decided to record a song with producer Sean McDonald, who's known for doing work with some of the bigger bands in the region, such as the Clarks, Gene the Werewolf, the Hawkeyes, and so forth. And really, the starting point of working with Sean was, him asking, okay, what ideas, riffs, demos, songs do you have that we can take a listen to and see where we have some common ground and common inspiration. So he picked a song. I gave him about 24 songs, and he picked one that really stood out to him. And then I can't remember what it was, but there was something that he didn't like, or something that put a creative writer's block in his mind. And I said, Sean, let if you like that style, I can write a total new song from scratch that is in that same style. So I think that, thinking back, I think that's what it was. It was kind of like the song was almost too complete to bring to a producer. Where someone like Sean likes to be brought a ball of clay that we can both work together to build a statue, instead of being brought a statue and saying, can you put a couple of pieces, a couple of splashes of paint on this. So I kind of took that song, which was a song in that style, heavy rock, and I wrote a different song in that same style, and that's where we started down the path of Paying Back the Devil.
So lyrically, if I'm following, and I'm pretty sure I am, the song is about going back after a bully, and making sure they get theirs.
Yeah, we have left the lyrics a little bit open so that folks can take what they want out of it. And we have a concept video that we're going to be shooting in the new year for it, that's going to take it in a very surprising and different kind of way. But yeah, you nailed it. It's about being in a situation where someone puts you through hell and you can't wait to give them their due.
Now, the other thing that drew me, what caught my eye, to be honest, originally, is that the devil mask that you used
Mhm.
reminds me of the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, um, little Marvel uh, homage there.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know if you realized.
I didn't
Yeah,
even realize
Daredevil.
that.
um, so the band is you, Nolan, and Melina.
Correct.
Um, and without aging you too much, what's it like to play with the younger group?
Um, I think it's like, super cool for me because unlike a lot of my peers, I am always looking to discover new music, and not just new music from my favorite all time bands, but new bands. Every year I put together a playlist as releases come out for that year, and add new bands to it. And so I feel like, playing with these guys who are, a few years younger than we both share that, love for new music as opposed to, the same music someone may have been listening to for the past 10 years or so. So that's been really cool. There are some differences just in the way we describe things that come up from time to time, where it's just like, hey, we're talking about the same thing. Like, for example, I used last night at rehearsal, I used the term ballad. And one of my band members said, well, no, I'm not thinking of a ballad. I'm thinking of like an acoustic song, like Iced Tea and Lemonade, which is one of our songs, which I would describe as a ballad. But to this band member, possibly because of, being a little bit younger, a ballad meant something totally different. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see those differences come up, and sometimes we have to make sure we're communicating the in a common language. But overall, it's been awesome,
Um,
and I have more energy than both of them put together. So
I believe it. um, so just a quick comment. I think the last time you were on, you had a pink beard. Now you have the green hair,
yep.
and you can let Melina know that I still have not dyed my beard pink.
Oh, you're a couple years behind now. It's
Yeah. All right. So, question for you. Um, what this you're gonna be like, what? What has been the best pizza you've had because you're a musician? So you have to,
because I'm a musician.
yeah. So either at a rehearsal or at a recording session or on your way to or from a gig or at a gig, you have to find a way to relate it to it happened because you were a musician.
Because I'm a musician. Hmm. That's really hard because you'd think that, oh, musicians, you play a bar, you play a venue. They're so happy to just, give you catering, give you free drinks, give you pizza.
Mm.
No, no. I mean, I have a story where we played a venue that is now no longer in business, and we were backstage, and I said, hey, the guys were saying, oh, I'm thirsty, and I said, oh, I'll go to the bar and get us bottles of water. I went to the bar, asked for 3 bottles of water. The bartender put 3 bottles of water up, said that'll be $12, and I'm like, but I'm in the band. And she's like, it's the same price for the band. And I'm like, $12 for 3 bottles of water for the band. So, geez, that's hard. That's hard to say. I don't want to disappoint you. I want to think of something. But I'm having a really hard time to do that. The only thing I can think of, and I feel bad because I can't even remember the name of the pizza place, but we've done some recording at Innovation Studios in Steubenville. And there are times where we've just gotten hunkered down, locked into the music, and before we realize it, it's like 7 hours later and we're starving, and we ordered whatever the closest pizza was to Innovation Studios. And I do remember that pizza just tasting so good, but I don't know if it tasted good because it was good,
Or
or if it
because it was
tasted good
7 hours
because we were
later.
so freaking hungry and starved. So that's the closest answer I can come up with for you there.
All right, so sticking with the title of the track, sort of.
Mhm.
um, Robert Johnston, blues musician who was terrible and disappeared and then came back and wasn't terrible anymore. The legend is that he met the devil at a crossroad and sold his soul to be able to play. If you were standing at that same crossroad waiting for the devil to show up, why are you there? What are you going to offer him? And what are you hoping to get in return? You don't have to offer your soul. You can offer something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't offer my soul, but I mean, being into metal music since I was like 13 years old, I would offer the devil like either a song or maybe a lifetime subscription to songs that I'd write for the
So
devil,
to
you
your
know.
Patreon,
Yeah, maybe
that's
a
perfect.
Patreon membership.
Why don't you mention your Patreon since I brought it up?
Sure, absolutely. I love to. So we have the Chip and the Charge Ups fan club hosted on Patreon, and Patreon's a platform where you can subscribe to your favorite artist, and every month get rewards for whatever you subscribe to. We have 5 different tiers that you can subscribe to, starting at just $1 a month. And at the $1 a month level, you get things like a free monthly download of either a unreleased song or a yet to be released song, and you get discounts on our merch. So even if you signed up for a month at $1, you might save a couple bucks on a t-shirt and get more than your money back. And then we have like in each of our levels or tiers grows on and includes the previous level. So the next level is like a $3 a month, and you get a group video chat. You get a birthday shout out video every year on your birthday. A $10 level gets you things like handwritten lyrics every month mailed to you, your name in the credits of our videos, and things like that. So it's a really cool way that we have a small subset of our fan base, and we treat them really, really well and give them truly insider stuff, like stuff that we're not releasing elsewhere. So, for example, Paying Back the Devil, they got to hear Paying Back the Devil before the rest of the world. In fact, they got to hear Paying Back the Devil in a prior form when it had different lyrics and a different title and a slightly different guitar riff. So it's kind of cool, in that regard. They get to watch us grow. They get to watch songs get developed before the finally produced version hits the rest of the world. So like I said, it feels like this is our small group of insiders that we get to do really, really special things for.
It's like the Chip and the Charge Ups VIP package,
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Yep.
except it's not $1,000.
Not yet. Once we get as big as Metallica, we're raising them prices. No
Ooh,
dollar a month tier then.
speaking of Metallica, they released a song recently.
Indeed.
What were your thoughts on it?
Loved it. What I thought was kind of cool about it, one of the things I thought was cool about it is that it came out just a couple days before ours, and I kind of thought it had a similar vibe to Paying Back the Devil, and people were excited about that, and I'm like, wow, if they're getting excited about this Metallica sound, they will probably get excited about Paying Back the Devil and some of the other stuff that we have forthcoming. So I was pretty stoked about that.
So that some of the other stuff that's forthcoming, now you piqued my interest.
Mhm. Yeah, so, you mentioned that Paying Back the Devil was a little bit heavier and maybe a little bit reminiscent of Chip Demonic, and I think you're gonna probably hear some other songs that you'll have similar feelings about. We still have to decide, what songs are gonna make it onto our next album or our next record, which will be a 5-song EP probably. So some things may get cut, some things may make it. Um, but I'm kind of getting the feel now that yeah, it's gonna be similar to and expanding upon what everyone has heard and liked about Paying Back the Devil.
Cool. I that excites me. Not
Nice.
that I don't like what you were already doing, but I'm kind of the heavier stuff is
Yeah,
is kind of
well,
where I
it's kind of cool. It's like um, having it been a few years since I released things with more of a heavier edge. I've still kept active friendships with the people who used to support Chip Demonic, and it's like pretty awesome to see that those friends are they're still supporting and they're still interested in that same style of music. And I think they're going to be pretty happy with what they hear and probably pretty surprised. So that's exciting for me.
now is this like are you going to keep going down that way or are you going to take another turn later and maybe hit a different genre?
It's impossible to say. I mean, I know you have been doing stuff in the regional music media for a long time, probably even longer consecutively than I have been. The first Chip Demonic album came out in 2005. But if there's anything that's true about looking from what I've done for the past 17 years, is that there's always going to be exploration. I remember the first Chip Demonic album came out, a lot of it got compared to Alice Cooper. And then our later stuff, I don't think sounded as much like Alice Cooper, and certainly the early Chip and the Charge Ups stuff didn't sound at all like Alice Cooper. So I am always trying to incorporate whatever is inspiring me. I never feel like, oh, I'm in a pop punk band and this is all I can do for the rest of my life. So it's wherever I'm finding inspiration in my songwriting, that is where the music is going to end up. I think it's unlikely that you'll hear me do bro country or polka or, hardcore rap, but I'm a guy that never says never either, so who knows?
Well, I mean, you could like mash up some of those genres into one song.
Sure. Don't challenge me. I just may do that.
Um, I may have to challenge you because there is a guy in Minnesota who just wrote a song called "Hey Jonna," and it's an industrial song where uh, that he wrote for Jonna from First Angel Media, and there is a electric toothbrush solo in it.
Oh, wow. All right, cool.
So, so top that.
Yeah, I saw a video once. I can't remember what these guys were using, but there was this band, and I think were like they called it techno or something, and they had all these weird like household appliances. Like the music sounded like techno, maybe pre-dubstep era stuff, but you like watch and it's like, oh my gosh, that's really those appliances playing. So
Yeah, he he's a solo artist, but he plays all kinds of different genres, and for every genre, he has a different name. And we were doing Friendly Fire, and we played a song from our area that I won't mention because the response from one of the DJs was, "That sounds like screwdrivers in my eardrums." So his current band that he has written 2 songs for Jonna in is called Screwdrivers to Ears, and they have both been very industrial.
Cool.
Um, so I'm going to ask you probably the most important question I've ever asked you. When you are playing, do you think about the faces that are showing up while you're playing, or do they just happen?
Kind of both. As a lot of people who know me know, my wife is a photographer and does a lot of photos at our shows. So I'm always trying to give her something fun to work with. Um, but other times, I just go with what I feel. And, if I feel something bubbling up inside of me, it's going to be reflected in my facial expression. And if we're lucky, someone will snap a picture of it.
I was I was taking photos of you at Island, and you made this face. And I was like, "That was awesome. Why did he?" And I looked over my shoulder, and Sharon was right behind me, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, if you want to get the good face pictures, just stand in front of her and you'll get them.
um, let's take let's pause here for a moment. I'm going to give you an MTV moment where you can tell me the story of paying back the devil. It could be about, you kind of gave me a good story about the recording process, but what else can you tell us about it?
One not so obvious thing about it that I'll share is that it is inspired by hockey. I mean, hockey is a sport of revenge, always has
So as soon
been.
as you said that, I get it now.
Yeah. So, one of the things that had happened during the process of writing and producing the album and, refining it and everything, or not the album, but the song, was it was last winter, and Brad Marchand from the Bruins, who pretty much everyone outside of Boston hates.
He licks people. That's what you
Yes,
need to know.
that's that's the one. If you say nothing, it's other than the player that licks other players. Everyone knows who he is. You don't need to know his name, his team, whatever. But that's that. So he stuck his um, stick in Tristan Jari's mask during one
I
game.
remember that game.
And I think like Jake Gensel was on the ice, and Jake, I think, is like 5'9", 160 pounds. And, Jake said something to him, but didn't, want to engage him in a fight. And Brad Marchand said to him, you could read his lips and I'll delete the expletive. He's like, what are you going to do about it? So I was like feeling trying to feel what Jake and the rest of the Penguins would be feeling at that moment of time when someone just takes a cheap shot at your goaltender. And that inspired some of the lyrics and the vibe and the kind of vengeful anger that permeates in the song. And I'm a big hockey fan, so I often look to hockey for inspiration for my angrier songs.
See, now that brings up the old 2-9er.
Yes.
Anyone in Pittsburgh who has listened to DV has probably heard that, and to the X. Um, and I have actually met Phil Bork a couple times.
Yeah, it's more than me. I've only met him once.
I've met him twice.
Cool.
um, and the first time we were at a practice, and he came and sat down next to us, which was really cool. Just hung out with us right before Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the first year they won the cup.
Wow.
So I was like 14. And
That's amazing.
neither Phil or I had gray hair. Now we both do. I'll tell you that story off the air. So let's take a moment and listen to Paying Back the Devil by Chip and the Charge Ups, and we'll be right back with a couple more questions for Chip. Okay, so for anyone watching the video, if you haven't noticed, our website address is scrolling across the bottom, which I will get Chip to talk about later. The song isn't actually going to play right now because all the different social media platforms that we are currently on will probably mute us. So we're going to pretend like we listened to the song, and we're going to come back and do a couple more questions. And my daughter Bria is going to peek in and say hello. There, that's Chip.
Hi.
From Chip and the Charge Ups.
Hello, is it Brienne? Did you say
Bria?
Bria. What's up, Bria?
Bria is a huge Blackridge fan, which means I should probably play her some Chip and the Charge Ups tonight so she can hear it before she goes to bed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I have a feeling she's gonna like it.
Hope so, Bria.
She's seen a couple bands this past summer. She saw the Borstal Boys and Blackridge, Doug Carnahan a couple times, Doppler Effect.
I got Doug right here.
I knew I recognized that. I do his website.
Oh, nice.
She leaned in here and screwed up my green screen. And it won't come back. Oh, well. All right. So I'll ask you a couple more questions, and then I got to get off and move on to the 9 o'clock interview.
Busy guy.
I got home at 7:10.
Yikes.
I left my house at 6:10. Like 6:10 a.m. and got home at 7:10.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a long day.
But all right, here we go. That was Paying Back the Devil with Chip from Chip and the Charge Ups hanging out with me. He has, as he mentioned in the first half of the interview, if you weren't here, he's been playing since 2005, you said?
Yep, that was the year that the first Chip Demonic album came out, 2005, and been doing it pretty much continuously since then.
You kind of alluded to how long I've been doing what I'm doing, and it depends. If you're talking about podcasting, that started in 2004, but if you're talking about working with bands, that started in 1996.
Wow.
And I was 19. I'm not 19 anymore. But this show started a little later. This one is on episode 90, and it's bi-monthly. I'm sure I missed some, but about 45 months, which will put us at what, almost 4 years? Almost 4 years? That was some quick math. Whereas the PA Rock show started in 2004, so we're past 18 years on that one.
That's amazing.
And 600 and what am I recording tonight? 649, I think, is the episode number.
Nice.
So, okay. So I've only asked you one off the wall question, really.
Was that the pizza one?
The pizza one, yeah. Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was the pizza one or the face one.
Or the face one. Yeah, neither one of those are normal questions, but I've probably asked you this question before, but your answer may change. Who is your Dave Grohl? In other words, what musician or band do you want to go up on stage with and perform one of their originals?
I would love to perform with Hailstorm. They are definitely one of the bands that I've seen the most. I lost track of how many times I've seen them, and I've lost track of how many times I've seen LA Guns. And I'm not even that huge of an LA Guns fan. I obviously like them, but it just seemed like they were always on a bill or always coming to town or something. So Hailstorm and LA Guns I've seen, many times, and many more times than I've seen any other bands. So it would definitely be Hailstorm.
Cool. So I'm going to word this question the same way I do every time, but Kiss played in a bay in Australia on a boat to great white sharks, and Metallica played in Antarctica. What non-standard venue would you like to play at?
A non-standard venue. Let's see. I want to give you a good answer here. I think it would be cool to perform on a roller coaster. and like have the band, drums, guitars, etc., on a roller coaster, and we're singing and playing as we're going down the tracks. Of course, have that all wirelessly piped into a PA system so everyone in the amusement park can hear it, but we're on the actual roller coaster. And then, roller coaster rides are only like, minute and a half, 2 minutes. So just keep it going. Just keep it going. Just keep us going
So
for like an
have
hour or 90
having
minutes.
having worked at the rider safety center and the guest services, the service center at Kennywood, you just made me go because because I know where your equipment is going, whether you like it or not, and it won't come back in one piece.
But don't we have like good Velcro now that we can like just Velcro it to the coaster cars and it'll be okay?
Listen, how many times people came there and said, I dropped my phone while I was on the Phantom's Revenge, and I went, they'll have it for you tomorrow, but it won't work. That's why they tell you to secure those items.
Mhm.
um, see, you probably didn't know I worked at Kennywood.
I didn't. I'm learning all kind
Um,
of stuff tonight.
well, let's see, 1997 to 2010.
Wow.
2 days before Bria was born was the last day I worked there, and her sister Emily.
Twins?
They are.
Wow.
See,
Cool.
learned something else.
Yeah.
And I have a 14-year-old son who's in the other room too somewhere, and all three of them are musicians. They all sing, they all play instruments. They actually just got home from a choir rehearsal.
Oh,
So,
nice.
but anyway, people who listen to the shows hear about them all the time. um, if you could sit down to dinner with any four people from the history of time, any point in time, who are you going to invite to that table with you?
Hmm. Well, I would say the first person would definitely have to be Jesus. I mean, I would want to know Jesus's life story, the truth, nothing translated, nothing manipulated. So, Jesus would be number one on that list.
Okay, so when you meet him, ask him if there are some interesting things in some of those copies of the Bible, and I want to know if, like, depending on which copy, like, there's witches in some of them, and you have to find out what really happened.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, there's some things Old Testament that doesn't jive with New Testament thinking. So I'd like to have all those worked out. It'd be a long conversation.
Okay, so who are
Uh,
the other three people that are going to listen to that conversation?
Other three people, yeah. I mean, do we, is there going to be room for anyone else to engage in that? Or are they just going to be twiddling their thumbs like, "Hello, what about me?" Um, so history of the world. I mean, obviously, like, my mom and dad are both departed. It would be awesome to have them back. And then why don't we pick one current rock musician? And how about I mentioned Hailstorm? How about Lizzie Hale? And if that isn't a bizarre combination of people, I don't know what is. But yeah, Jesus, my parents, and Lizzie Hale hanging out with me, breaking bread, finding out the truth.
So I kind of stole this question from Mark Madden,
I
and
love Mark Madden. Love Mark
and
Madden. So it got to be good.
I can only remember two of the four people that he chose, but one was his mom, and the other was Hitler.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, I have to ask musicians this question. So that's where that one came from. um, two quick, easy questions for you, and then I'll let you go.
Okie doke.
One, for the people that cannot see what is scrolling below us in the video, where can people find you online?
People can find us online and basically all the social media platforms, but the best starting point would be our website, thechargeups.com. And from there, they can link to our YouTube, our Facebook, our Twitter, etc., whatever platform of choice they prefer. And would love to get connected with them, regardless of where they like to hang out online.
And last question: what's coming up next for Chip and the Charge Ups?
Definitely the recording the next album. We're hoping to. We've been in pre-production, tightening up our demos and everything, and basically we're very much just about completely prepared to begin recording the rest of our next album. So, Paying Back the Devil will be on that. And I'm guessing we'll probably do 4 more songs, and we'll probably start recording those in January, and ideally have something out before the summer.
Okay, I lied. I have one more question.
Hey, ask away.
Over your shoulder, I can see some instruments. What do you have hanging in there?
All right, let's see if we can get some light over here. This definitely isn't all of my stuff, nor even my favorite stuff, but over here, I got a Martin Travel acoustic guitar, a Fender 12-string acoustic guitar, a Dauphine nylon string acoustic, a cheap J Reynolds bass, a Squire 5-string bass. I think that's Melina's first guitar, Melina's ukulele. I got a Schecter She Devil, which I have a story on that. I'm sure we don't have time for it, but maybe next time I'm on the show. And then a guitar that my son actually built for me right there. I love that guitar. Below that, I have a Yamaha acoustic electric, and I got a guitar for my birthday that is out of
Nice.
frame, but is here now, which is a Schecter Silver Mountain 7-string with a Floyd Rose and a Sustainiac. This is a beautiful monster of a guitar, basically everything you could want in a guitar, all in one beautiful piece of wood. So have a few other guitars downstairs, but that's a good part of my collection there.
Cool. I want to thank you for hanging out with me on episode 90.
Thank you, Bill. It's always a blast chatting with you.
And for those of you that are not familiar with the band, definitely go check them out. They're I did a terrible job of describing the sound at the beginning, but it's a lot of fun. And if you get a chance, watch some videos so you can see those faces I was talking about. With that said, this has been episode 90 of 3 Questions and a Song. You can find us on the 1st and 15th on buildthescene.com. And then they air throughout the month on buildthescene.com and also at roodoradio.com. For those of you that are hanging out with us live in about 15 minutes from now, I should be live again talking to Mick Michaels of the band. Of course, I was going to do that. Corners of Sanctuary from Philadelphia. They are a metal and hard rock band, and they have a Christmas song that we're going to be talking about. They release a Christmas song every year, and I think I have 3 or 4 of them in rotation. So that's where I'm headed. And Chip would like you to head to his website and check out that Patreon and what they have going on and where you can find them. With that said, we will see you next time.